is all in your mind, and it's how to develop a positive mindset. Whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. Okay, that quote is credited to Henry Ford. So whether you think you can or you think you can't, whatever way you think, you are correct. What we're going to talk about is mastering the mindset, mastering our mind. And the two things specifically is grit and then the growth mindset. We have a growth versus fixed mindset. We're going to talk about both of those, what the difference is, what does that mean, what does having grit mean. Okay, that's that effort that we kind of talked about last time. Let's talk about grit. What is grit? Grit is that passion and that keep on going attitude, right? For long-term goals, to keep pushing you forward through that path, through that journey. You're going to keep going and you're going to maintain that effort. When you fall down, you get back up again. See, failure is not the end-all be-all. When you fail, you learn from it and you move past it. It's the courage to stay in the game and refusal to quit. It's that having that resilience, that endurance, that stamina, that drive. All those are good synonyms for grit. So when things happen to you, do you let that define you? When it's not the best thing that happens, challenges come, or do you say, okay, I'm gonna keep going. I can do this. I can get through this. So on your pathway now, you're going to have to put forth some grit. It does require effort. You're going to be times when you fail at things. You've had that experience. We all have. But you get up and you go again. I'm going to try again. I haven't gotten there yet, but I'm going to keep moving for progress. We're going to talk about two different mindsets. This is something you also need to know. It's growth mindset versus fixed mindset. Growth mindset is that you say, well, I failed, but that's an opportunity for me to grow. I can learn from it. But fixed mindset on the other end says, oh man, I failed. I'm limited. I can't do it. Growth mindset says, I can learn anything I want to learn. The fixed mindset says, oh, I'm either good at it or I'm not. The growth mindset person, when they, like Inky, they come across a challenge, I'm going to grow from that. I'm going to learn from that. I'm going to be a better person from this challenge. Or the failure. The fixed mindset says, oh, I don't like challenges. I give up. I'm frustrated, so I'm just going to give up with it. I'm just going to stick to things I know. Growth mind says, I'm going to try something new. I can learn it. When I get feedback, that helps me. I take feedback as constructive. I'm going to learn from this paper I did not do well on. Why did I not do? I'm going to learn from it. It's okay. And the fixed mindset, I can't do any better than that. So which mindset do you have now? And just be honest with yourself. I don't want you to answer me, but which mindset, which one of these looks like you talking in your head? So fixed mindset, these people think ability is fixed. My intelligence is fixed. There's nothing I can do about it. I was born that way. I'm either smart or I'm not. And if those smart people over there, they don't have to work hard at it. They're just smart. Fixed mindset people just accept satisfactory grades. See, okay, at least it's not failing. They're okay with mediocrity. And they try everything in the world not to look dumb. Well, I'm not going to answer out in class. That might be the wrong answer, and I'm going to look dumb. I'm not going to try doing that. That's harder, or it looks harder, and no, I don't want to look like I can't do it. I might fail at it, and I'm going to look dumb. These are all beliefs. On the other hand, where I want you to get to, and it requires grit to get there, okay, is a growth mindset. We want to develop a growth mindset. This is kind of where you think positive. And The belief system on the growth mindset is that I can learn. It is not based on something you're born with. It's actually based on what you do, your effort, what strategies you use. And that affects your ability to learn. So the effort I put in is going to help me achieve more. Growth mindset belief, and this is true, is that the brain actually changes and grows when you're faced with challenges. So when you're faced with something harder to do, something new to do, some type of challenge, problem, your brain will grow and change and adapt to that. Growth mindset belief is that you can learn from and correct those mistakes. You're going to make errors, we all do, but we can learn from them and we can learn how to fix them. So how do we develop a growth mindset? That paradigm shift, that instead of saying, I'm not good at this, you can say, oh, what am I missing? What do I need to figure out? Instead of saying, I give up, change your way of thinking and say, well, I'll use a different strategy. This strategy is not working for me. Let me learn a new one. Instead of saying, it's good enough, it's okay, it's a C, it's satisfactory. You turn and you say, is this really my best work? Are you doing the best that you can do in everything you do? That's one thing I preach to my boys all the time. If you're going to do something, it's going to have your mark on it, then make it the best that you can do. Be proud of who you are and what you can do, and think, when you do something, is this your best work? Instead of saying, I can't make this any better, you say, I can always improve. There's always, no matter who you are, there's always room for improvement. Don't say this is too hard. Say, this may take some time. I know we're all guilty of saying some of these phrases. I know we are. I've done it too. But just change. The more you start going to that positive way of thinking, that growth mindset way of thinking, the more it'll come natural. I made a mistake. Well, okay, you can say that. You can own your mistake, but what you need to do on top of that is say, mistakes help me learn. What do I learn from my mistake? I just can't do this. Rephrase that to, I am going to train my brain. We will going to look at some great examples of this, of training the brain to do something you thought you never could. I'll never be that smart. Instead, change it to, I will learn how to do this. There's always a plan B. I'm going to learn from my friends and my peers. Instead of being jealous of their success, a lot of those fixed mindset people are jealous of other people's successes. So being jealous of them, saying, I'm glad they're successful. I'm glad they have that. I'm glad they can do that. Maybe I can learn something from that. So become a growth mindset believer. Intelligence is the result of how much information students know, and get this, and how they use strategies to control their thinking and learning. It would be sad if I gave you an entire class of strategies but never talked about how much your mind influences the way you use and learn from those strategies. You've got to start with your way of thinking. I'm a big believer in positive thinking. I've seen it over and over and over and over again. Just the way you think about and tackle problems, challenges, schoolwork, personal issues, life issues, has a tremendous effect. So what you're learning is not just for college, it's for life. Now, when you are developing this positive growth mindset, choose your friends carefully. You've heard the phrase, birds of a feather, flock together, right? Meaning you're kind of around people who think like you. So when you reflect on who your social group is right now, who your friends are, what's their mindset? See, I make it a point to surround myself with positive people, because I know I will pick that up and it will help me. If I surround myself with positive thinkers, these growth mindset people, I'm going to tend to be more like that. If I surround myself with fixed mindset believers or negative thinkers, it would become a habit to be like them. You're very much alike who you hang around with. You know Eeyore, right? In Winnie the Pooh, we all know Eeyore, right? Very pessimistic, oh, woe is me kind of attitude. We don't like that. We don't want to be like that, and we don't want to hang around people like that. That does nothing for us. So try to encourage others around you, but try to be around some people who have that same belief about grit, that effort, that growth mindset, to be more like that. And don't surround yourself with Eeyores and the negative thinkers and finding all the problems with every situation you're in. So here's a quick summary. Develop grit. Decide. You have to make that, just like that initial realization that you're starting something new, you have to make that decision to develop a growth mindset instead of a fixed mindset. You got to make that decision. This is who I'm going to be. This is what I'm going to start thinking. When you come across challenges, obstacles, those hurdles you have to jump, well, you jump them. And if you fall, you learn from it. What did I do? What did I do wrong? What can I do better? What different strategy could I use? But view them as learning opportunities. And lastly, just another piece of advice is to choose your friends wisely. You become like those you hang around with. Carol Dweck, who has done a lot of work on the brain and that growth mindset, she says, we like to think of our champions, our idols, the people we look up to, that Michael Jordan's, right, as superheroes who were born different from us. We don't like to think of them as relatively ordinary people who just made themselves extraordinary. So be your hero. Be who you want to become.